At Brown's Roofing, we put our customers first. Our expert project managers are there to answer all your questions and help you out with anything you need. When disaster strikes, either a hailstorm or a leaky roof, you need a contractor in which you can trust.
Hey everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd, and happy Tuesday. Wednesday. That has been the most difficult thing out of launching this platform. I never know the day of the week. I never know what time of the day we're in, because usually, when you work the same shift over and over for 20 years, you get used to just like, it's like punching in the clock, just click. Same thing over and over, because everything's so different from day to day, which is actually a pretty cool positive thing. I never know what the heck day it is. Ever. It's Wednesday. I lamented last week that it felt like a Friday on a Thursday. Today it feels like a Tuesday on a Wednesday. Today's forecast made possible by ServPro, Monroe, West Monroe, faster at any size disaster. Local number 318-345-5121. Visible satellite shows quite a bit of cloud cover. Some mid and high clouds. The low clouds have started to kind of move back in, but we have at least encountered some peaks of filtered sunshine from time to time through the course of the day. Nothing showing on radar. Temperatures across the area range anywhere from the mid-60s to the low 70s, and we are on our way well into the mid-70s as we go through the afternoon hours today. Dew points are on the climb too, back into the 40s and 50s, even the low 60s in many spots, so low-level moisture is on the increase, which is a positive considering the increased fire weather risk across the area. If you were to take our fire weather risk and compare it to neighbors to the west, they would probably go, oh, that's nothing. You have dew points in the 50s. Well, for our area, this is, again, an exceedingly high fire weather risk because of how dry it is. The air is relatively dry, all things considered, for our area. It's breezy, and we haven't had a lot of rainfall. And there's a lot of folks that are doing increased burning post ice storm. So you factor all that in together, and that's where we have some issues. Camden, I think their wind gauge is not working. Their anemometer, because I'm pretty sure they're getting some sort of a breeze. Anyway, those are the sustained winds. The gusts generally are in the 20 to 30 mile an hour range. I wouldn't be surprised as we go into the afternoon to see some 35 mile an hour gusts. Look at the day planner for the rest of the day. Shows daytime highs in the mid-70s. Your forecast, your day planner, made possible by the Monroe Chamber of Commerce and Leaders of Change. Learn more at monroe.org. Clouds will be a part of the forecast through the rest of the day. Again, warm, breezy, but the rain generally should hold off. Speaking of rainfall, Futurecast shows the stalled boundary will be the focal point of what very limited rain we expect through the day tomorrow. Depending on which data you want to look at, some bring at least some scattered showers, maybe even a thunderstorm or two through portions of the Mississippi Valley. But there's also a lot of data that shows we may not get a lot of rain at all. So I've been really kind of less than aggressive, if you will, in terms of setting up rain totals for our region through the day on Thursday. I do expect to see some scattered showers, but in terms of being reliant on that rainfall that a lot of folks are, I don't have a lot of good news. Rain totals will be lackluster, and there will be a lot of areas that see little to no rainfall. Once the cold front moves through, drier air sets in, sunshine for Friday and Saturday, but then that gives way to some quick return cloud cover on Sunday. I'm really not overly bullish about the rain chances on Sunday, but it does set us up for southerly winds and a gradual warming trend beyond that weak Sunday cold front. We should be highs near 80 on Sunday afternoon, and then we'll fall back into the mid-70s and start the warming trend all over again for the early parts of next week. Look at the mid-level winds, and this is something that I've been kind of barking about for the last couple of days, is that our trough of low pressure will bring that cold front through the area on Thursday. The trough axis, if you will, just kind of oozes through the area on Friday. It will allow for some drier air aloft to punch in and allow for some sunshine for the early part of the weekend. Once we get beyond that, as we work into Sunday and into the early parts of next week, we continue to see some weak disturbances aloft that will allow for a weak frontal boundary to kind of drape across the region and be the focal point of cloud cover and just kind of cloudy, gloomy conditions. Does that sound familiar? For the early to middle parts of next week. We'll be warm, we'll be cloudy, but it doesn't necessarily translate to a lot of appreciable rainfall. We start to, again, gather some subtropical moisture ahead of this mid to late week storm system. We really still, again, can't make a lot of sense, and nor will we be able to make a lot of sense out of this, at least in the next couple of days. Again, we're talking about something mid to late next week. This is Wednesday. We're talking 7 to 10 days from now, and a lot can change between now and then. And again, we're watching this thing right here. Does it dive south? Does it open up in the upper level pattern and go northeast because the ridge of high pressure to its southeast is strong? Does it do a little bit of both? We don't know where this thing's headed. But we do look at it as kind of the pattern changer, if you will, as its disturbance one, and then you can see this next disturbance behind it that will probably kind of move in the same general pattern. And that looks to be the potential for a pattern flip as we go into the first month, or first week of the month of March. Does that translate to immediately to rain and thunderstorms and severe weather? Not necessarily, but I do think that we will trend more active maybe by the middle to end parts of next week. It may be the early parts of the next week. Again, we're talking 14 days from now. Just looking at, again, not necessarily at what's going to make headlines, but we're just looking at something that will break the current pattern that we're in, which is warmer than normal and drought-stricken. Rain would be a plus at this point. So you can see that by the time we get into the middle parts of next week, you have this one, this storm system. There's probably another waiting in the wings off the Pacific coastline. So this one probably opens up and goes northeastward. This one perhaps digs a little bit farther southeast in its wake. Again, pattern-changing types of disturbances and storm systems. Because now, instead of northwesterly dry pattern, that's the other thing to take away, is this is what we've been dealing with, northwesterly dry pattern. We haven't had that sharp polar surge of air from north to south. It's been more kind of northwest to southeast, pretty run-of-the-mill stuff. And then we see all of that change as we go into next week, and you start to see those southwesterlies. We get that subtropical moisture back in. And it starts to work a little bit more of an active pattern. Again, can't really jump into a lot of specifics, but it is something worth watching in parts of next week. Harlan, good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for joining in. Mid-70s for highs today. Some areas will be in the upper 70s by the end of the afternoon as the sun kind of tries to peek back through. Come on, sunshine, you can do it. Winds will be back out of the south, bit breezy at times through the afternoon as well. Staying breezy even through the nighttime hours tonight as overnight lows fall into the low into the 60s. The clouds continue to increase. Again, we've already dealt with the mid and high level clouds, but the low clouds really start to ramp up and fill in overnight. Sets the stage for small rain chances for tomorrow. Those rain chances are lowest to the north, highest to the south. You can check out forecast details, temperatures, rain chances for your specific location at digitalweatherdesk.com or on the app. I just uploaded all the new numbers about a half hour ago, so it's all there. And then we set the stage for a warm, unseasonably warm next week. A few small dips here and there with some weak cold fronts, but that's about it as we shape up for the next 7 days. Again, just outside the 7-day period, I wouldn't be surprised if we trend a little bit soggy or a little bit more active, but we'll keep an eye on that and cross those bridges when we get there. Again, forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the app. I'll check in with you a little bit later today. Fish and Game made possible by First South Farm Credit later tonight. Keeping you up to date with the forecast, even though there's not a whole lot going on here, at least in the short term. Thanks so much for making this part of your day, and thanks for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, everybody.
Century Next Bank is proud to sponsor Digital Weather Desk with local meteorologist Jared Floyd.
The Digital Weather Desk is your local source for the latest weather information to help keep you and your family safe and to plan your week. can follow us on our social media platforms, download our app, and you can also find us at digitalweatherdesk.com. The Digital Weather Desk,
Powered by Century Next Bank.